Hey, what's up and welcome to Tour H2 Overlander. Another day in paradise. I'll tell you, we got planned to do the fog lights. Fog lights means you can tell right here in the corners. Let me see, right there they are. I want to put lights in these corners. It's an 04 Hummer H2. They're not meant to have them there, but I'm going to walk you through on how to get your lights into the Hummer. Here in Germany, I need fog lights. I want them to be on both sides right there. And then it's a dual function light, so I'm going to have them, the additional function on either brake or lights. We'll see. If you want to get your H2 from this look, now here are the lights I was talking about. This is what you want your H2 to look like. Oh, here we are in the back. You can see the corners. They're not made for light to go in there, but I do want the lights to be in there. In Germany, we have state inspection. We need fog lights in the back, and I don't want to have that little rinky-dink thing down here that we have here. I wanted to fit them into the corners. So what you'll have to do is basically, as you can kind of tell there, that one is still closed. Here I've already cut into it, and the light can be fit into it. I got to do a little bit more detail work on that, and then kind of get it to where I can get it in there. And then of course you have to run the wire to the front, and I want my lights here in the back to one be a fog light, but then I'm not sure if I tie it into the regular lights or if I tie it into brake lights. I'm not quite sure I'm going to do that yet, or which way it's going to be, but it's going to have to, it has two functions, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Well, the easiest way to see if this fits into your let's say corner of your bumper, your light, you have to make a template. Because these lights in the back, as you can tell on the originals, the 08s, 09s, H2s, they got these clips they go into, and of course you can screw them. Now on the, like mine 04 Hummer, you don't have that. So what you have to do, we have to try to see if we can create some sort of lip for these clips to kind of clip into, and then probably just have to glue the thing in and use some sort of silicone adhesive or some sort of Sika, whatever. I still got some stuff laying around from building my camper, so I'm going to use that to glue them in. But anyways, in order to get started, make sure the whole thing fits, you know what to cut out. Basically, you have to trace the light, just lay it on here, and then trace it all the way on around. Then you cut that piece out, and that particular piece, then you actually go to your car and fit into the space and see whether or not it fits and how much you have to cut out. Here you see my mess. Here's my two lights, and I've got them figured out, and it's fairly simple. This red and green is really ridiculous. Two reds go together for one light. One of them is a negative, the other one is positive. Which way you hook them up makes no difference. The same thing with the green ones. They function another light. The green ones are half already wired, and I soldered them up already right here, as you can tell. The green ones, I believe, were the regular brake lights, and these are for the red ones are your fog function. So now I'll have to, just like I've been doing here, I gotta get the distance from left to right in order to hook them up. And I've got one cable that goes all the way to the front. The ones going to the front is going to be used as the fog light, basically, so I can turn them on and off as a fog light, and the other ones are going to be tied in with the brake essentially, but still these two have to be hooked up. So I still gotta solder iron these together, and I save yourself the time to watch me solder because it's never pretty. It's functional, but it's never pretty. And then on one side right here, I'm going to work with these clamps. The reason, not that I like this, and I'm sure there's better ways of doing it. I currently don't have the correct type connectors, but I'm going to use these type of clamps because if you have to take the bumper off, you got to be able to disconnect the light somehow, and this is where I'm going to do it. So I'll just take it from there. I know this is not the car way of doing it, but this is the only things I could find right now in order to get them put together. I don't have watertight connectors, and I couldn't order any of them. I haven't found anything fitting yet. So this is what I'll use. You use whatever you like to do. This is not a channel that tells you exactly how to do it. It just gives you an idea of what I'm going to do. And whatever you do, I hope it works. Well, here's a little check. If I wired them correctly, these are basically either going to be tail lights or I can use them as a brake light. That function right there. And the center will be the fog light. And here you see the fog light option. This is fog lights. So they're wired correctly. I just gotta put them in the car now basically and figure out how to seal the back of that. I gotta think of something to put a seal on this, shut this so no water and moisture is able to get in. Haven't figured out anything on that yet, but I'm gonna start cutting the second hole now. As you can tell here, I cut the second hole in and I use a reciprocating saw. It does a quick job of what's at hand. And now I'm just basically coming in here and I'm cleaning off the edges some. Trying to cut these corners out a bit nicer so they fit in there. Yeah, like that. And I'll do the sides on that. And then we can check the fitment. Well, there's a placement of that one. And it sits in there nicely where it's supposed to go. And just kind of fine tuning here now. Making sure it sits completely in that little cubby hole. This outer ring here of the light is quite big, so it catches the inside of the corners. If you look at these corners right here, they come in sort of slant-eyed, and it sits on here basically. And this is what I'm going to use. This area right here is what I'm going to use to kind of glue it in. So what I will do is basically, as you can tell in this light right here, I'm going to run a bead of glue on top of this lip right here, all the way on around, nice and thick. And then I'm going to set this thing in there just like this and see, make it fit, make it sit in there just like that, and then we're good basically. This is it. That's what it looks like with both of them in there. I wish it'd be done already but it's not. So you can see I got the wire coming out here in the bottom. It's going to run across inside the bumper all the way on over to this light right there, and then from this light right there I'm going to have one wire go up to my rear brake light, and I'm gonna have one wire go all the way to the front for the fog light. So that's the plan basically. So from now on it's kind of gluing them in and just doing wiring. Right, good morning, another day, another project. I'm trying to finish this out. I've got the hole cut out. You can see I got my light in there, and figured I'll manufacture a bracket, if you want to call it that, so I don't have to glue anything. So I kind of use this stuff right here, comes in a long old strip like this, and I bent it to where now it fits into the back. Basically it takes on the screws right here, and then basically it will push itself up against the bumper on the inside. And it's pretty much how the originals ones are mounted to. They got a little bracket for it that they made, and it's pretty much the same way they mount it. So I'm just gonna do it this way and call it a day, and that's it. And the lights are in, and I can remove them anytime I want to. So I'm gonna set these now, and then I'll start looking at the wiring here and kind of go from there. And yeah, here's how I sealed the back of this, the big hole that we had in there. I took a cardboard and I cut a circle out and I stuffed it inside, put the wires to the middle, and I filled the inside up with silicone. Let that dry, and then I put over this this kind of waterproof type of, it's like a foam. In Germany they call it Moosgummi. It's like a foam. They use it for a lot of different kind of applications, and I had a glued backing to it, and I put that over the silicone stuff with a hole through it, which now I hope it's sort of waterproof. And I did this on both of them. On this one here I had to do it a little bit different because there was more wires involved here, but you can tell that's basically it. So I'm going to fill up this hole right there with the silicone, and everything else is pretty much covered, and that's it. Well, I just checked the other side, and miraculously the same bracket fits. So it's time to duplicate this thing. Just counting down the holes basically to get the length, and then I start bending it the same way. I'm using my little reciprocating saw right here. Quickest way right now to cut this thing right there. It makes the least amount of noise, because I am, as you can tell, out in the streets again in front of my house. So yeah, This is where it's gonna be. Once I got that in, once I got this side kind of put in, I can run the wire in the back, run it over here, and I can start connecting things. And found a hole, I think, that goes from the bottom here into this light, but I'm gonna have to check this out here in a second. All right, got my power station going here, and I got my little Dremel tool going here. I'm gonna clean up the corners a little bit, and then we're gonna set this puppy in. Well, here we are. You got the bracket inside, as you can tell, up there. Screws through it, wire on top. And now I'm gonna have to run the wire over to the other side. But that's basically how it's going to work. That's it. And from the outside, it's looking pretty good as well. So that's it. All right, now I found my access hole for the light up here. You can tell I got my 2 wires coming out, and I actually was able to go through the access hole right here for all the wires. Now I just got to figure out which one of these is my light, and then hook it up to that, and then yeah, tie it down into the light, and we got lights in the house. We'll just kind of go with that. The other side's already in. Just gonna have to hook it up, kind of see what goes. And here we are. For the first time we have light. It works with the lights. Now I just have to hook up the fog lights, and I have to run a wire from the very front to the very back right now. I'm gonna do that, but this is it for right now. Basically, lights are working, which is good. And the fog lights as well. So that's way to go, I'd say. And only fog lights. So I guess that's a job well done. I'm finished on that part. Now I am going to take on the next project. So the next project is going to be the replacement of the old DRLs in the front. And this is what they look like. And the bulb that's coming out of there is a pain in the ass too, which is this particular part right here. And there's no sense in cleaning these up and making these look pretty again if you can get these plug-and-play replacements. This is fog and daytime running light as well, and it is plug and play. I kind of tried it out, but the only pain in the ass is the bolts, and I'll show you. Okay, here you are. This is where the light basically was sitting in, and the pain in the ass is that you can see it comes out, and it comes out right here. And the problem is that there's like a washer or some sort of bolt or something like that thickened here, and in the back there's a nut. And that thing is totally corroded, so you can spin them and nothing happens. So how do you get these out without breaking the plastic bezel? That's my next chore. And I think I'm gonna try to cut it, because I tried wrenching it and it's not gonna work. These should be fairly quick. I mean, they're plug and play. And once you plug them in, they actually light up. But yeah, trying to get these bolts out now. Here you see it, I've got it out. There's 2 holes right there. I used the Dremel tool to cut it in the front and the back. That's basically what it is right here. Yeah, this is the nut in front, and you see the nut on here, and there's a washer instead of like this. There's a washer on there on the side, and it goes on through, and on the other side and in the inside where the light goes, so you have this. So the old light right here, this part screwed into that. Then you have a metal washer here. It goes to the plastic, and on the other side you have another washer and the nut. And this stuff's corroded. Now I've got the same problem over here now. You can tell here's the ring you see here, that's metal, and on the other side is a washer and a nut, basically. Now I'm gonna cut these out again with the Dremel tool. It takes about 5 minutes and that's done. All job's done, all wired up. It's plug and play. You can see my daytime running lights right now. They're all nice and neat, nice and bright. So we'll turn on the fog lights real quick. That's the fog lights running. And here we are with regular driving lights and fog lights on. And here we got the fog light application. Quite bright, definitely visible.